All right, welcome back, guys. Let's talk about the new Legend Rune crafting event. I have kind of a theory on these events, and you may agree with it, you may not. Totally fine, but I want to make sure that you're aware of my thought so that if you agree and you hadn't thought of it that way, you can, execute the way you want. If you specifically disagree, you kind of know what the alternatives are. So my theory on this event is you want it to be a rune that will go into use immediately without having to re-app it. And I'm coming from a perspective of my re-apps are limited, 3 a week. That's it. I have more runes to re-app than I will ever acquire re-app stones, right? So anytime I can add to my rune quality base overall without having to spend a re-app, that's what I want to do, because I'm going to spend those re-apps no matter what. They're already used. I don't want this to jump in line into the re-app thing I've got going on. It's crazy. There's too many things to re-app, right? So I really do think speed slot 2 is a great choice. You can pick anything you want. So your main decisions are what set, what slot, and what kind of function it's going to be at. So I think speed slot 2 is a great choice, and I think violent is your best choice. Now, some people will question, violent versus will, or swift. If you really need swift, don't do swift. But violent versus will is a pretty common question, or rage sometimes, right? You need a rage crit damage rune, you never got one, here's your chance, right? I think 4 set over 2 set is the way to go, because you're going to need more 4 set runes in general, and violent runes are the most used rune in the game. It's a 4 set. I think you got to go with that. So think about if you could choose between a violent crit damage rune or a will crit damage rune, the violent crit damage rune is better all the time, I would say, because you could put a will one there, but there might be some instances where you don't want will on crit damage, but there are pretty much not a lot of instances where you don't want violent on your damage dealers, especially for RTA, right? You kind of want them on violent. So I would go with violent. Now, I've gone with speed the last 2 times they've had this event, speed slot 2, and I think I still have those runes, and they're always in use. So let's take a look here. So let's see if we can't find them. I guess I should sort by something useful. Let's do crit rate, because I remember they always roll high on crit rate. That is not one. I don't think that's one of them, because it's got the HP, but that's a great rune that I got. That's that rune I got the other day. It's so good. Where are these runes? Oh, I have resistance as a slat. That's why I didn't keep resistance. So here's one of my event runes, right? It's legend. It has no inbuilt stat. You can see how it rolled out. It rolled double crit, double HP. I didn't even have to spend a gem on it because all the things were great. It's in use. Like, it's on my Rakuni, probably not the best use, but it's going to be in use from now till forever, right? It's always on a unit. This is not one. Let's see if I can't find that other one. I don't think that's one, but that's just a great rune. Let's see here. I think is this the other one? This might be the other one. Is this legend? Yeah, I think this is it. So you can see we got crit rate, double crit rate, an attack, and an HP roll. Didn't have to use anything to change it up. It's really a nice rune. You can add to the stats. All 3 of the main percentage stats are added to. The crit rate sitting there. I mean, it's always going to be used. It's sitting on my Perna. I mean, that's a pretty high priority unit. And I didn't have to re-app for it, right? I just got it. The negative, I mean, what's great about it is, the reason why I like the slot 2 speed is, for me as a late game player, I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for efficiency. It needs to be very efficient, like 100% or more efficient would be great. Or it needs to have a ton of speed on it. Ideally both, but that's hard. So that's what I'm going for. Now, if I craft this rune, I can control its starting stats. I can make it as efficient as possible to start, but I can't control what happens after it starts rolling. I can't make it roll efficiently. It might roll really inefficiently, which would make it useless. And it might not roll into speed, which if it didn't roll efficiently and it didn't roll into speed, now it's a re-app candidate, right? Which is sad. So I want something that I can completely control as much as possible. And with the speed slot 2, you're getting 42 speed because that's the main stat. Everything else, you can control the starting stats. You can't control how they roll, but you can control what they are. Like, this has all the starting stats you would want. This could have rolled any way amongst these stats, and it would have a great use. Like, it could have rolled full crit. It could have rolled full attack. A split between HP and defense would be fine. Like, this is going to get used somehow no matter what. And it is, right? So that's my theory on speed slot 2. Now, that being said, there's great reasons to do other selections. And in fact, I don't think I'm going to do speed slot 2 this time, because I look at my speed slot 2s and I've got a lot, right? I've got enough. I still may change my mind, but I've got quite a bit. I've been looking at them, and you know, out of legend slots, out of 2, 4, and 6, don't do slot 1, 3, and 5. Oh, I should have said that first. Don't do slot 1, 3, or 5. They are more common. Slots 2, 4, and 6 are where it's at. Pick your slot. It's got to be 2, 4, 6. I would say do violent, but I'm not, you know, I can't convince you of that. If you have another plan, you might have a better plan for your account. That's fine. Okay, now I think I have enough speed slot 2s. I have about 6 that are really, really good. I want to say I have like 4 or 5 legends, which, you know, I might want more, right? But there's another slot that I think is useful, and it's crit damage, violent crit damage. So my best violent crit damage rune is this one here. It's a hero rune. It's not even a legend, but it's got everything I want, right? It's got defense, speed. I gave it crit rate, attack, but this is my best one, and it's a hero rune. It's super efficient, but I don't think I have ever pulled a legend crit damage rune. And when I was runing my next free rune removal, I had like 2 units in a row I wanted on crit damage violent. It was Vanessa and Josephine. I really like Josephine on violent. And this rune's going to go to Vanessa next free rune removal. She's going to get it. She gets first priority. We're trying that, right? Josephine, I'm trying to rune her, and immediately it starts giving me broken sets. I don't have another violent crit damage that's useful for my second unit that I need to rune. And that's a huge problem because I don't want to go broken on Josephine. I don't want to immediately dip into nerfing her ability to get better sets and stats. So I think I will go crit damage, because even if it doesn't roll perfectly, like it doesn't roll 23 speed, like let's say this was a legend rune and it had these starting stats. Okay, let's say it started with crit rate, right? I'm going to want on a crit damage rune, crit rate, attack, speed, and HP. HP being strictly better than defense. Those are the 4 I want. I will roll till I get those, and then once I get them, I'll keep rolling until I get more efficient versions of them. Ideally, it'll have, you know, 6 crit, 8 attack, 8 HP, and 6 speed. That's the dream rune. If it doesn't roll into speed at all, that means I'm getting crazy amounts of crit rate and attack, or I'm getting like a quad roll HP, which is still cool. It'll have a use. But yeah, there's really no way those 4 stats can roll in an undesirable way. Like if it rolls no speed, it still has 6 speed. I can enchant it up to 10 or 11 if I want to spend a 5, which is enough for the amount of the other stats it'll have. It'll have 20 crit or 18 crit and 20 attack. Like it's going to be beefy in all the right stats, right? So my best broken rune that I was talking about earlier is this one here, which I think is a legend. It's also a hero. That's sort of shows the issues my rune pool has, right? It's got quite a bit of speed, but it's got just some big, I put an 11 attack on it. So it's for all in effects legendary, because I got an 11 attack roll, re-app. Not a re-app, what do you call it? A gem, right? So that's like 2 rolls. It's like 2 rolls into attack, 1 into crit, 2 into speed. And it didn't roll super fast. It did roll twice into speed, but it's just beefy. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I need to up my rune quality in that slot in that specific instance. So if you want to do something like that, I would advise that. The thing that a lot of people are going to do, which is completely fine and viable, but I personally am not going to do, is a slot 6 HP. You can never have enough of those, but let's look at mine. HP slot 6. So this is probably my best slot 6 HP, and it's rare because it rolled speed 17. I mean, it's not a lot, but that's what I got, right? And I need it fast. I need fast slot 6 HP, so that gets priority. This one's really nice. It was a legend. It didn't roll speed. It rolled a ton of everything else, and I've got a great use of it on my Triana, but I'm not gonna put it on my Hathor because I need it to be a little bit faster. And the crit's a little bit quirky too. It can only go on a couple units. I think this is a legend. No, it's a hero, but it's pretty good. I mean, oh gosh, that's actually pretty bad. This rolled into all the wrong things, but these things are pretty useful. So this kind of makes the argument of maybe you should get it because you're going to use it even if it's kind of garbage, no matter how it rolls. So maybe that's worth it. I think this one's legend though. Yeah. So this one rolled twice into crit damage and twice into speed. I feel like I need speed out of that slot and HP slot 6 for violent, and so that's what I'm targeting. If it didn't roll speed, it immediately goes to like the lower tier units, that like this one here. This is rare, but imagine this got, oh, those are terrible enchants. Imagine it's got a couple more rolls, but it stayed pretty low on speed. It wouldn't be a priority for me for my support units, right? Man, these runes are all not great. It's a tough slot. So the argument to roll it is you can see my rune quality in that slot is not great, right? There's a couple of good ones, but in general, it's kind of poor. So that's the argument for it. To me, I really wanted to roll speed, and I can't control that. So that's my theory on not getting that. So I hope this was helpful. You know, when you're making the choice, you've got time. I would say take the time, farm it out. Do not select the rune until you've rolled it an infinite amount of times. Roll it to get exactly what you want. If you think you have what you want and you're like, I want that rune right now, but you have a week left to farm it, maybe it'll roll 1 more HP percent or 1 more speed, and it'll get better. And it takes nothing. You just play the game like normal and it gets better and better, right? So I'm going to roll it until I've literally maxed it out in the stats of my choice, or I run out of time. So I would say do that too if you have the option. Anyway, I'm curious to see what you guys are going to select and what you think of my thoughts on the process. And good luck to everybody with those runes, because they're going to be one of your better runes for a long, long time. They're going to be used for quite a while. So that's it for this one, and take care, everybody.